Podcast for the people.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to episode number 9, Podcast for the People. My name is Paul and I'm your host. I have 2 special guests with me here. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Rosie, also known as Rosie Ever After on IG, also Paul's cousin, the other half of me at this point. I do run the social media for all of our platforms for Podcast for the People. I also actually am partnered with Kinetic Vibe as well, so the people are doing our collab with our field dates, so that's exciting. And yeah, that's kind of me. I don't really do much besides that.
That was a perfect intro. It's the first time on camera, guys.
Yeah.
So welcome, Rosie. And then I have another special guest of mine, my boy Tevin out here.
I'm Tevin. My boy Paul, we known each other since like elementary school, linked back up in Nike. I have my own little IG thing that I do that I'm trying to turn into a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Get my Twitter King vibes on like Paul over here.
Yes,
but
sir.
It's called Live with Blue and Tea, and we're on every Wednesday from that page, and we'll have the link in the description and everything.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, I'm a Florida man turned Philly bull, and I'm just down here to chop it up with my man Paul.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm excited to do this one because I had already some questions in mind that I wanted to do for an episode, and then Tevin came and hit me up and brought up some more questions that are gonna stir the pot a little bit. So
Yeah, a little bit.
And of course, I wanted to, I realized me and Tevin, we can't just be 2 males on the episode and have some male perspectives. So I got Rosie here to give a female perspective. So yeah, just to kind of get straight into it, dive into it. We have a couple questions, some random, some kind of close to topic. We're going to start off with an interesting question that Tevin introduced me to, that can attractive women and attractive men have a platonic friendship? And I found it interesting, that question pretty interesting, because it's super common that physical attraction is a big thing that, it's the first thing that catches our eye, if you want to be honest, right? Yeah. Before people start speaking and stuff. So I'm going to let Tevin answer that question, at least give us his perspective, because it's his question. And then we'll go into Rosie and then myself as well. So go ahead, my boy.
I'll say, personally, I think it does kind of work, but it only works in my mind if the girl likes the guy more than the guy likes her.
Mm-hmm. And when you say you mean as a friend, or you mean like
as more than a friend? Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there's no way for them to not be attracted to each other because they're both attractive. But if the guy is on a page where he's like, "Yo, I'm just trying to be friends with you. You my sis, that's fam," then it's a lot easier for that because the girl has mad other distractions.
True. That makes sense.
Versus whereas men we're taught to chase. So if he's interested, he's not trying to be no friends, he's not trying to, you know what I'm saying, he's not trying to talk to you for a long time, he's trying to do what he's trying to do, and then if he can't get that, he gonna dip. But
exactly.
I feel like for women it's you might want him, but it might be a little bit easier because you're also attractive, you have mad other distractions, and he can fall down the roster type of way. You know what I'm saying? You got your first pick, second pick type. So I think it's possible, but it don't happen that much because men always be
yeah. And I can take that's just taking accountability. I think men have a hard time to not focus on the physical, right? But I'm gonna let Rosie give her answer because I want to touch on what you said a little bit. So go ahead, Rosie.
So I personally think that it can happen.
Okay.
But I think it all depends on how the friendship starts, where the intentions are set. So I'm very, especially now coming out of a relationship for a really long time, I make sure that any friend, whether it's female or male, I set the intention straight. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a friendship, and yes, you're attractive, whatever, but I don't want that. And so I feel if we're on the same page, it's perfectly fine. Even if you find me attractive or if I find you attractive, unless I make that move or unless you make that move and it's obvious, I feel it's fine. I don't see why there's a problem.
Okay.
Personally, I've always
So setting intention, pretty much letting that be known from
set
the
the
jump.
boundaries, set the intentions. I've always had male friends in my life because I've grown up with mainly male cousins, so I've always been one of the bros. I've been the prima that everybody takes under kind of thing. So I feel it's me personally, I can do it. And I don't know, I feel a lot of women can. It just, again, the boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
The
And just to kind of touch on that, you kind of you kind of took my answer in a sense, but it comes down to an understanding.
Yeah.
We don't always set forward with what we want, right? Sometimes we don't even know what we want, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you meet people and you're either in a confused stage of whether you want to meet somebody new, somebody special, or sometimes you're just tired of being in a relationship, or you're tired of being tied on to somebody where being friends is literally all you want to do, right?
Yeah.
You're just looking for a friend type of thing.
Yeah.
I always look at it as the ball's mainly in the woman's court, and that's why I agree with you, Tevin, because females, in a sense of how you said that if the female likes the guy more, then it's more possible to be just friends. I think the ball's always in the female's court in a sense of where they set the boundaries if they wanted to, right? Some don't. Some let the men kind of like control things, and but I think the understanding part is a big thing. But I also always looked at friendships like have you guys ever had a time where you guys either, let's say you guys had an attractive coworker or an attractive classmate, right? And they were so attractive, right? Like, so, like, you're like, dang, like, they're like, you're curious to know, to want to, like, I want to talk to that person. Next thing you know, when they start talking, you're turned off immediately, just off of what they say or how they talk or how they act. Or, you get what I'm saying? 100%. So that's another thing too, where like, no matter, sometimes physical attraction can only go so far. You know what I mean? Like you guys can be the best looking people that y'all ever seen in y'all lives, but once you guys start talking and whatever, personality can shift that immediately. That's how good looking people could look ugly to some people, because they're like, oh nah, that person, that's an ugly person inside, you know. So that's a big thing. I think platonic friendships, they always last because it's mainly the friendship that carries them. It was never the attraction, you know what I mean? It was never that. But that was pretty good perspectives from each one. I think the understanding is probably I think that's probably the consistent answer. I think as long as we have the intention is there and then understanding right from the jump is super important.
I feel like I makes me want to ask another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, you say like setting intentions like for all of your relationships up front. Like, how, like, is that difficult? Because I feel like as a man, it's not that easy. Like, you'll say what you want, but then she gonna be like, that's not really what you want.
That is true.
Or if you communicate well as a man, and you're communicating, hey, yo, I don't think I want you right now. They're like, but you communicating, though. I like that.
That is true. That is true. So there's
a trick to that. Not a trick to that, but I can see that where it's a tricky situation because if you are, and the thing is that I think it depends on how you're handling it too, though, because it's like you can set the intentions, but like if you're gonna set the intentions with me that we're friends, and then you're gonna be like saying like little flirtatious things or like trying to like spice up the conversation a little bit, like. Don't tell me you're out here freeballing and doing whatever you want, like, you know, trying to make a spicy conversation, and then you're telling me we're just friends. Like, you're tricking me at this point. Like, you're confusing me. So I feel like if you're gonna set the intentions, you need to stick with those intentions and make it obvious that those intentions are like, that's it. Yeah. Kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I can understand that.
Yeah. Like, but I see what you mean, though. Like, it kind of be, like, man, I feel like, I can see where it's like kind of like the double standard or whatever, like men like not being able to communicate that and like women respecting it kind of thing, but then women need to be respected. I can see how that kind of like plays into part, but I think we live in a day, like the days now are like where you just can say that and people should just be able to respect that at this point, and that's just how I see it.
Okay, so I guess to leeway into this roster question, because it's interesting, I want to know. Not saying everybody, but most people don't want to admit that they have certain candidates, you can say, right? So certain people that got their attention, and when they're single, they have every right to have them, right? In a sense, because you're exploring, you're doing what you're trying to find what works best for you in a sense. Now, when you speak to somebody and you let's say you're in that beginning talking stage, when do you ask that question? And are you going to admit that you have a roster if that's even being brought up?
So me first?
Go ahead. I'll start with Rosie on this one.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand, you're asking if I'm speaking to a guy or I'm thinking about dating a guy and he asks me if I have a roster, am I going to admit that?
Pretty much, and what do you feel about having a roster? Is that something that you think is
like you're seeing other people, or are you talking to anybody else type way?
Okay, so I feel like this all gonna depend on the woman, right? Okay. Me personally, I know how I am. I'm needy and I like attention. So if I can feel the chemistry in a relationship with, or like the chemistry or the balance or whatever with somebody, like and that really, I can feel like it's going to be better with that one person, I'm personally not going to want to be like, oh yeah, you're cute, I would date you, whatever. I wouldn't do that, because I'm like, okay, well, you're giving me what I need, and we've set the intent, again, we've set the intentions that this is what I like. And I would be honest, if at the end of the day, you're kind of not intriguing me anymore, and I'd be like, okay, so you're not interesting me anymore, I am going to step away, and so forth, and move on.
What about two really good candidates, like two candidates that have your attention just as much as the other one does, but in a different way, and like can carry, like has those good qualities that you're looking for?
I feel like I'd be honest, like I haven't been put in that situation, obviously, and I know that there are people, like I have female friends that have been put in that situation, and they're very honest about it, because it's like, where right now we're exploring, a lot of people are like recently out of relationships. I don't know if there's something in the water, in the moons, whatever, but you know, so I feel like a lot of people are being very honest about it, because it's like, why sit here and waste other people's times if you don't have to, or if like,
makes sense,
because you know what happens if, like, for instance, example, me and Tevin, right, like we're talking or whatever, we're going on dates, and then you know, we're going on dates, and then like, let's say Keem is like the person that like is also very great qualities, right? And then I'm gonna tell Tevin like, hey, like, you know, either is somebody else that I'm having a conversation with, but you know, it all really depends on how things go with me and you, and how things go with him, because I never know. Maybe Keem says something that you, like you said, it makes his personality unattractive, and then I'm like, oh, instantly turned off. Tevin's the only person.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
So you'll speak on it, but you I guess it's something that has to be brought up to you first before you say it. I guess that makes sense. I mean, you're not going to be out here just saying, hey, by the way.
Right, exactly, because you're not my man. Like, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, you're not my man.
I want to make that clear, because like sometimes we over-explain too much to people that don't really need to know those kind of things, right? Because we're still in the talking stage.
Yeah. So like, I'm polyamorous. Okay. So like, I'm very open to having multiple partners, and my partners having multiple partners. Okay. As long as we're communicating, hey, yo, this is where I'm at right now. This is who I'm seeing. Like, I can be very cordial about it. Been in a couple of situations, but we can say that for another episode.
Yeah. But the communication is the key.
The communication is the key. So like, for me, I'm not like, I'm into women, and so like, I'm okay with my partner getting her needs satisfied by someone else. Because like, for me personally, I'm not like a hypersexual person, so like, I'm not trying to get cheeks like every other day.
And that's the best way to put it.
I love that. Like, I could go, you know what I'm saying? I can go like 3-4 days without some cheeks, but I want cheeks. But like, but like, women are different, and like making that space for my partner to essentially be whatever it is she wants to be. Again, like, me personally, I don't think like I have any right to tell a woman what to do with her body. Like, if I'm like there for you in other aspects, like I'm protecting you and you're just staying safe, like what is it that, you know what I'm saying, like things,
and
like
vice versa too, you're saying. So vice versa. So in the sense of like, so even if they're doing, your partner's doing what they're doing for you, as long as it's communication, you're saying that whatever we do with our bodies, and so, you know what I'm saying?
And like, I think even when we talk about like people having rosters, if we're very honest about, like, if people understood what polyamory was, it's the same as being single with the roster, essentially, except you're just communicating up front. Like, for me, I'll be like, look, and like, for me, it's a deterrent to like people who don't have like the best intentions for me, because like, I don't want anybody who's with me who's kind of like trying to control me or certain stuff. Like, I like being able to get up. Like, Friday, it was cold. I booked the ticket to come here. I didn't have to ask nobody, and I was here on Saturday type. So I try to give space so that like, if you want to grow in a direction that might not include me, as long as you're happy, you can grow in that direction. Because I feel like for us, and like a lot of our parents' relationships, so like I work with kids, which means I have a lot of conversations with parents, and you can see like a lot of people are just in the relationship because like they started off, now they don't want to go back dating, and you know what I'm saying, and even research shows that a lot of the time in married relationships, the woman reports lower levels of marital satisfaction because she's feel like she's outgrown her partner. Like, he just linked up and then just stopped growing type.
They're not ready for that conversation.
They're not ready for that conversation.
But it's true. I think I had this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday that, you know, just preparing for this episode, we started talking about like how a lot of marriages, a lot of couples, doesn't have to really be marriages, right? But just couples in general have, you know, like they have this feeling of like, it's like they know they're not happy. and they know they're seeking, or at least they want to be happy, right? So they want it to come from their partner, but it's just not coming from their partner no more. So but that's something that they hold on to for a long time, for a really long time. And I think the good thing about that is being able to be happy and being able to communicate that, you know what I mean? So that's honestly an interesting way to actually look into a relationship, honestly, bro.
Yeah, I've never really I've heard a lot about it, and I would always joke with my ex that it was like, yeah, that's not happening, you thought, like, kind of thing. But like hearing it in that perspective is very different.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not even really about the sex. It's just understanding that as a human, as a person, you're dynamic. So like what you were, like, you look back 10 years and be like, that's what I thought was important.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Why was I wearing that? Like, we had the stud belts with our names. Our names going across.
Exactly.
We was hitting the doggy outside the loop, like stuff.
So what you're saying is the older you get, the more, I guess you could say, different. I mean, because we all want to grow, but we also want to grow with somebody. And sometimes when when it's not possible, we think that we're stagnant. Like, oh, then that stops our growth. If we can't grow together, then what are we gonna do now? When in reality, it should never be like that. You know what I mean? Like, you should never feel trapped because that other person can't either satisfy or doesn't want to grow with you anymore. You know? But now, how important is sex in a relationship? And I'll go ahead and give my first answer since we're about to spice this up.
Let's go ahead. Let's switch it up.
All right, so like, let's say 1 out of 10, right? How important is sex in a relationship? I'm gonna say a solid 5. Like, it's right in between, because it could always be improved. One, so that's not something that can't. Communication is super key. So if you're not being pleasured in a certain part of sex, then you speak up on that, because that can be worked on. You feel me? And then just open communication. The other half of me, though, I can't say though that most of the time, if the sex isn't good, there were certain stages in my life where I'm like, bro, I don't got time to be teaching you. You grown, like, I'm grown, you grown. How you not, like, what? Like, you just gonna lay there? Like, nah, like, we not doing this. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why, like, it really just depends, right? It depends. I think again, I feel like my answer is just as important as you let it be, in a sense. You know what I mean? So what would you say is your answer, Rosie? Because from a female, it's so different. It's so different. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, I think that it's really important in a relationship, because for women, at least, like, the women that I've been around, like, and myself included, like, we like to be reminded that we are beautiful and loved in our own body. Like, right? Because, for instance, I'm a thick girl. Like, I'm not going to ever say, no, whatever. You know, that's who I am. And, you know, even as a skinnier girl and even as a thicker girl, right, where you feel like you're perfect, a lot of the times looking at yourself naked in the mirror, you're not going to feel that way all the time. And I feel like in a relationship, my man or my woman, my spouse, whatever, needs to be able to remind me in their own format. And I feel like, at least now that I'm older, like, I feel like that's with sex. And it doesn't even have to be just sex, like, you know, that kind of sex. It could be any kind of sexual intercourse, you know what I mean? Like, anything. I don't want to get too detailed, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can be able to express I feel like that's how you express your love. And the one thing I will say is that with sex, it's a little bit, it's more of like, how long are you really going to be with this person? At least, like, because a lot of people won't have sex with their spouse until they know for sure they're going to be with them, because it does take a part of your soul when you're with somebody. Like, you know, it takes a part of you. And so, like, doing that, it's like really important. I feel like this, just sex in general is important.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I think it's important. It reminds you where you stand in your relationship. It will see, one, if you have the chemistry still, if you still love the person. I think personally, at least, it will still tell you if you love the person. And then like, on top of that, you know, like, not your soulmate, but like, you know. Yeah.
I feel that though. I agree with you on the part of where it means a lot more than what people make it seem sometimes. You know what I mean?
More
like,
for women.
As far there you go. As a female, and again, it should be for male too. There should be no standards. I mean, there should be no. That one, if anything, should be a double standard. That should be the respect that you have for yourself and everything like that. You know, but. I mean, at the end of the day, I like that answer though, mainly because it really just depends on a lot of things, you know. And go ahead, Tevin. Go ahead, give me your response. I'm curious to know what you.
For me, I would say like, sex isn't really important till like after we've been talking for a while. So like, I'll use like the terms is like demisexual. So that means like or sapiosexual. I'm someone who needs to be deeply connected to you, and the only way I can do that is through like intelligent conversation. So like you really gotta like stimulate
the mind.
Stimulate me with some conversation or something before I'm sexually attracted to you. Because like I'm not just like, for me, like I'm very intentional about not sexualizing women. So I'm not gonna look at a woman and be like, oh damn, like I wonder what she looked like naked. I'm like, truly, like the first question I'm like, what do you talk like? Like, what's gonna come out of your mouth?
I'm gonna be honest, yeah, bro. That's a big
true.
thing, bro. That's a big thing because we all like. There's so many ways to get turned off nowadays, bro.
Yeah.
It's just because of like it could be because of shit that you went through in the past. You know what I mean, or just in general.
You're wiser or you hurt type. You know what I'm saying? You're wiser or you're healing. So yeah, like if I'm before I can even get like, yo, I want to have sex with this person, I'm like trying to have a conversation with them to see like what they sound like. Because I feel like for me, I'm very intentional about like having kids. Because like there's no small, you know what I'm saying? You're creating a life. So like when I'm talking to someone, like my first concern is like, or like in the very base of my mind is like, however this woman, or what's gonna be a woman, like however this woman talks to herself will be how my daughter's inner voice sounds.
Okay.
So like she's like, if she's really like negative towards herself, then my daughter's gonna internalize that and she's gonna be the same way. So it's like taking that on and being intentional about it now, because I feel like I wouldn't say our generation, I feel like everybody's generation at this point has been so focused about picking the best person or partner for themselves that they forget that they're also picking the parent for their child.
Yeah.
So like I try to be intentional about that too. So like for me, if I had to rank sex, like sex, communication, how good she looks, and if she's funny and like if she's warm, I say like sex is like 4.
Okay. I respect that. There's so many other things that can turn you on that has nothing to do with sex, bro.
Then I ask like y'all know love languages, right? Like the 5 love languages. So like physical touch, giving gifts, quality time, acts of service, and then affirmations. Like where would you say, since you put sex up there high and that's probably physical touch, like where would you say like your top 3 love languages are then?
Okay. Mine is definitely physical touch.
Okay.
Mine is physical touch, words of affirmation, and gifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an Aries.
And what were the other two? What were the other two? Because you named 3.
So it's physical touch, giving gifts, quality time, acts of service, and then affirmations.
Okay. Quality time for sure. Like I'm very kind of with Rosie. I'm needy, not physical touch wise, but I it's like I like to be with them. You know what I mean? Quality time is a big one. Physical touch, I'll put that in there. I can't lie. I won't lie either. It's not as important as quality time, but physical touch is a love language for me. And the other one, so giving gifts is not. I wasn't gifted that much stuff to generate, and even then, I don't really pay too much mind to that. And then there's what is it? The words of affirmation.
And then so it's quality time, physical touch, giving gifts, acts of service, and then affirmation.
Oh yeah, so acts of service, is that like give an example of that.
Like that's if you need to get your dry cleaning picked up. And like you're worried about something else during the day, but you come home and they've already picked it up for you.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And words of affirmation is something that I've grown to appreciate more. I didn't back in the day. I probably wouldn't say words of affirmation, but this time it's necessary for sure. It's
what
necessary.
About yours?
I say for me, quality time is number 1. Like if I feel like personally, like I've been talking. I'm not to get too deep, but like I'm the type of guy who like I send calendar invites. I like plan the date. Everything like
that.
just slide through. But I've been talking to that's all you gotta do. Like I'll pick you up. Like I got a whip, I can pick you up too. I've been talking to this one girl and like every time like I try to hit her up and like she's like, oh, I'm busy or XYZ, and like I understand because like she works and then she's also in grad school, but I'm like, yo, now I'm starting to lose interest. Like I need that time. And then I'll say so quality time is number 1. Acts of service and affirmations are like really close, but like you just said, like I could only say I just now started liking people affirming me because like I got comfortable enough affirming myself. But like last year I was like, nah, forget.
Let's talk about this. This is a conversation. This is a topic. This is a topic that has always been brought up at least once, and I think it's starting to become less significant now as we get older. But it's still somehow there for some people that are holding on to the past a lot. Does body count matter? Does body count matter? All right, who wants to answer this one first?
I guess I could answer.
All right,
I think. All right, so me growing up, like I wasn't like the coolest kid, so like I had like a crazy glow up in the sense of like confidence, self esteem, like getting my money up to the point where I could afford clothes that I didn't look like a bum. Mm-hmm. But I think in that time I really realized because like I was a friend zone king. Like I was always getting friend zone.
Oh,
like,
as in they were
like middle school, high
they were
school.
friend zoning you, or you were friend zoning them as well?
No, they were friend zoning
okay,
me.
okay,
but
cool,
at the same, I was also dating somebody for like most of high school. But
yeah.
I had like a lot of women friends, and so you would just listen to stories, and I'm just like, I would do like it sounds messed up, but like middle school, high school, you listen to some of these stories, and you're like, yo, sis, like. You're 18 and like you've already, you know, like you've already had mad sex. So like, but for me, the way I internalized it was like, all right, we're all experimenting, and like at this age, we're so young, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Mm-hmm. So for me, as I grow into a man, if I want a woman that I love, I need to make space for the fact that she might have fucked up a lot, literally fucked a lot.
Like no sugarcoating.
No sugarcoating.
She's fucked a lot. You know what I'm saying?
And it came from like understand like how like the woman's body actually works. Like the vagina can literally clean out the last nigga in a week. So he literally the body, like her body, the only thing that keeps count is her mind. The body literally, he's gone. Okay. Like once the egg passes, he gone. We don't remember him. Boom, boom, bam.
Yeah. You're saying that. I'm just gonna let you know right now, women gonna be loving you for saying that because it's true. I feel like
it's a true thing though.
It's a true thing.
I've heard that before. And
men don't really understand how the woman's body works. So being able to hear an actual man understand that, I feel like a lot of women are good.
Body count, I think regardless, I think it never mattered in the first place. It was something that we made matter due to our insecurities, bro.
And we were so young too. Because I feel like a lot, like you ask a man, like, what's your body count? Most of them be like, I lost count. And I was like,
we've met a lot of men.
And they're like, like I'm like, damn, bro. Like, and again, like for us, the experience is different because we're told like, nah, go through them, go through them, go through them, go through them.
But I didn't let Rosie answer this question. What's up? Does that count matter, Rosie?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I want to say, okay, personally, right, I was in a relationship for a really long time, so I was only with one person right out of high school. So personally, I've only ever been with two people. So, you know, and now I'm out of a relationship. I'm not saying that I'm going out here experimenting and going through the hoe phase. But, you know, like, if it were to happen, it just would happen, right? It's life. I feel like it shouldn't matter, like you said, to anybody, whether I end up with another guy or if I even go back with my ex. Like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, like, you know, I'm taking care of myself, right? As long as you're being respectful to your body, I feel like that should really matter. Just respect your body. Like, be smart about it. Like, be protective about it. Test yourself. Like, I feel like that's really all that matters. Like, that should matter, right?
Yeah,
like,
the actual health part. Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like the actual health part is what truly matters when it comes to body count. I feel like counting wise, it shouldn't really matter because it's like, you know, like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you know, you've had sex with 20 girls. Okay, cool. Like, there's nothing I can do about that now. Like, at this point, it's like, it is what it is, right? Yeah. Like, so I personally don't feel like I don't think it matters. But there's some people that do care. Like, I guess, like, in a religious way, but, like, not in a religious way. You know what I mean? Like, some people might think that because, like, they save themselves because of, like, their religion with God, like, they're going to be like, I saved myself, so I want to be with somebody that saved themselves. You know what I mean? And that's understandable and that's respectful.
Yeah, that's how they were raised. Like, again, it's all how you were raised and how you were taught to learn, how you were taught to think things were right. You know what I mean? Like, everybody.
But I personally feel like now, like, days, like, we really shouldn't care as long as you're being smart about your choices. You're protecting other people because you don't want to be going around doing all the things that you're doing and then spreading diseases that you don't need to be spreading. We already are COVID. We don't got to deal with it. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
I would say, like, an interesting thing I was thinking, like, when you were talking is, like, because I was in a 5-year relationship in college, like, the whole time, for, like, freshman year to, like, we lived together, like, a year afterwards. And I feel like there's a whole phase that you could have in a relationship, though.
I'm done.
Yeah, no, I feel like...
Not me.
Okay, so define that, though. Define that. You mean the sex part? You mean the sex part? You mean the sex part?
The sex part with your partner.
Yeah. Like, that's why. But that's why it's hard to say whole phase. It's hard to label that as a whole phase because it's like at the end of the day, you just...
No, but that's true because I experimented a lot with my ex. You know, like we were together right out of high school. He was still in high school and I got out. You know what I mean? So like we learned a lot from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which
exactly.
It's great because it helped me learn and understand my body and what I like and what I need, which can hopefully help me in the future if it ever comes down to that situation.
Nah, I would say like for me, it helped because like going into my last relationship, I had only had she was my first.
Yeah.
And so like after that, there was some stuff that happened in between, but not in between, but like during our time together, because like again we were polyamorous. But after that, like I'm at 8 now. But like for me, it's not like, and it's been like a year, almost 2 years now. So it wasn't like I was going bang, 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 bang. It was like time, like. But I will say, truthfully though, Corona time might have messed me up.
Okay.
Cause like if we didn't go into a pandemic, I couldn't say that I would still be at 8. I might be at like 26. I might be at like 26.
It slowed things down. Right? So it slowed things down. Like right when it was picking up type of thing.
Yeah, no, literally we ended we broke up September 2019.
Oh,
and we had 6 months. You hurt in that 6 months. I'm not looking for nobody right now. I hate women. I'm not trying to talk to nobody. Just let me chill.
Yeah.
But I think it did slow me down. But I feel like the same way like I was raised, my dad would always say like, son, if you focus on yourself, like he said, focus on your education and then just being a better man than you were yesterday for your family and for yourself. By the time you get older, you'll be able to have any woman you want in any capacity. Yeah. And so I won't even cap like that man be preaching. Like,
yeah. No, that's it. I don't know if Rosie can speak on this, but like most females like guys that just be focused on what they got to do. Like they not worried about what every other guy's out here chasing. They literally just on their bag, focused, locked in. And then there's females that automatically be like, yo, I want him.
Yeah. I will say
and they be like, yo, it is crazy. And it's true. And the guy's not even trying. You feel me? And then you got this other guy that's in her DMs every day, like, yo, what's up, ma? Like, you look mad good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she's not giving him no type of attention.
No time.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel personally like being somebody who's working and has worked recently over the last few months on myself and focusing on my goals and like working on loving myself first, that like I truly won't faze me if a guy's like trying to like talk to me, but I can't see that he's like focusing on his goals and like you're wanting to push to be better. Like if you're not doing that and I can't see you do that, I'm gonna just be like, bye. Like I don't really care for your attention, like because you're not gonna be able to provide me what I need. Like I'm not telling you to pay my bills, but like know that I want to feel secure like having a conversation with you. You know what I mean? Like
it makes sense.
Be focused on yourself, love yourself enough to be able to like so that I know that I can love myself just as hard and you can push me to love myself so I can push you to love yourself.
All right, we had a little technical difficulty there, but yeah. So just to lead way into we have 2 more questions, possibly 3. So we're gonna go into can you? I'm gonna go with this one. Can you be friends with your ex? I want to say my answer first. I gotta think about this though. But no, okay. So I'm gonna just go straight into it. So can you be friends with your ex? To answer that question, yes or no? Yes. I feel like anybody can be friends with anybody, right?
No,
that's just in general, right? Is it smart to be friends with your ex? That's a different story, right? That's a different story, right? Because can you sincerely see me as a friend and be mature about it, right? Don't be immature about it and say yes and you're really lying. You're not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You want honesty. And another big thing is, can we see each other move on, right? Because if we're going to be friends, you're going to end up seeing that, right? And at least at some point. It might not be it could be in a long time. It could be really fast. You just don't know, right? But at that point, it is not on your hands anymore, right? But there's relationships that I can say that the one very rare situation where it's like a success to be friends with your ex is when that relationship was over before it actually ended. So like when those drag down relationships where like they just trying to figure things out, like, and you're just trying and you can honestly be like, you know what, I think we're not gonna work anymore. Yeah. And you can both be understanding and be like, all right, bet, since we're not gonna work, I mean, do you still want to be my friend? And at that point, then because the feelings are gone, they've been gone from both sides. But that's the key thing, both sides. That's why it's a rare situation, because most relationships that end is because one side lost the feelings. But when both, that's one of those scenarios where I think you can be friends with your ex, because at the end of the day those feelings are gone. So now I can say you move on if you want to. You can talk to me about whatever if you want to. Whatever, you can do whatever you want, because genuinely don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Vice versa too.
Yeah.
It got to be both ways, which most of the time it's not the
Yeah,
case.
it's not.
So I'll let y'all go ahead and give your answers to that. Can you be friends with your ex, Rosie?
Hypothetically, we like hypotheticals.
Okay, so I want to say yes.
Okay.
I do want to say yes, and I do want to say that although my situation is a little bit different at the moment,
Okay.
I feel like if, again, the intentions and the communication has to be set correctly. I feel like there is going to be a time, though, that it might not be right away, is what I'm learning, at least. It might be that, you might end the relationship and you might be able to make that friendship work, but there's going to come to a point where you might need that space because you are right. It's always going to be one-sided unless it's been dragged out long enough to where the feelings are no longer there. But personally speaking, like, I have, like, my ex from high school, me and him are great friends. Like, but I will say that when we ended our relationship in high school, I could not be his friend because it just pissed me off to see his face. But we graduated high school. He went into the military. We became, like, the best of friends, and even now, like, till this day, we're great friends. And, like, I feel like I can talk to him about, like, my ex. Like, I asked him for advice, like, because, like, I was like, you know me for so many years, like, do you think that I really changed? Like, how do you see me now? Like, because I feel like being able to have that communication and that friendship is great, and I feel like I can get there with my current ex because, again, knows me so well. I just feel like it needs to be those certain expectations, intentions, and communication has to be. But I feel like it's possible. I just feel like nowadays I've noticed, right? Because me and my ex were really great friends, and having communicated with other males that I am friends with my ex, it's a problem, and I don't understand that. So I don't know, maybe if you want to explain that, like, I don't know, because, like, I've gotten a lot, and, like, a lot of people are just like, oh, you're friends with your ex? Like, nah, like, you got a lot of baggage, or nah, you can't, like, I can't be friends with you, like, we can't talk, I can't do nothing with you because you're friends with your ex. And I'm like, I don't get that, because, like, I'm not sitting here having sex with my ex. I'm not sitting here doing things or going on dates with my ex. I'm not doing any of that. We're genuinely just having friendship. So I don't know, like, maybe you can tell me your opinion on both things.
Yeah, for sure, Tevin.
I'll answer the question. I think it's possible. I say, like, in my defense, like, for my relationships, I've always ended up being friends with my exes, but it's also because I've been intentional about being friends first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, not really, like, I've never had a relationship that, like, started off of us, like, hooking up and then tried to make it into a relationship.
True.
Like, most of mine were always, like, I had already seen her, like, go through, like, dating or trying to date somebody. So, like, really sitting with that and being like, okay, if I can still have feelings for her while she's going through this human experience, because we're all going to date somebody at some point. If I can still have feelings for her while she's dealing with someone else, then I feel like I have a deeper connection that I want to have with her. If she's linking with other people and it's irritating me, then in my mind, I'm like, that's not someone I should be with, because now I'm just trying to possess them more so than I am trying to, like, be with them and understand them. So, like, for me, I say, as someone who's friends with all of his exes, like, even my ex from high school, I feel like you probably know her. Like, I could call her today. Like, I called her a couple times last year. Spoke for like 3 hours, nothing, just cool. Like, she's doing good, I'm doing good, whatever type shit. So I think it's possible. Now, to answer your question about why is it a problem for, like, women to be friends with their ex, because I think, like, in that stage when we're talking, you can't have that question. Like, you can't really ask that question, like, are y'all fucking? But, like, some men do ask, like, are you still having sex with your ex? And I just feel like, for me, it's a fragile masculinity thing. Like, if you're still talking to your ex, that's competition. If I'm interested in you, he's gonna get an L. Like, I'm gonna win. Like, it's not gonna matter.
Like those tweets, you look better with me.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm never gonna say that. Like, I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna have the only way to, like, if I'm interested in a woman, right, and she still talks to her ex, I'm gonna ask her questions about him. Yeah. And I need to be man enough to ask those questions and deal with the answers type shit, so that I can collect that and be like, all right, I'm gonna do this better than him. I'm gonna do that better than him.
But that's good. Like, but that's not my situation. So my situation has been where, like, I will bring up, because a lot of people, like I said, I was with my ex for 7 years. We were on social media. People know me being Paul's cousin. So a lot of the people that have come into either my DMs or just being as my friend, like a male friend coming back into my life, will have an opinion about it because they knew my relationship essentially in a way. And they're just like, no, like, you can't, like, there's no way that you're just friends with your ex. Like, there's no way. Like, that kind of thing. And I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, if I'm telling you I'm literally just friends with my ex, like, I don't get it. Like, I broke up, like, with my ex. Like, we broke up because I needed to focus on me. So, like, obviously, I'm not even, like, trying to look for something. But, like, you know, like, even if I was just trying to have a communication, like, what's the problem?
I mean, there's a lot of things that factor into it. And it has to literally be perfect. Like, if there's one little thing that you mess up with, like, if you lie about a little thing, it's over. You're not being friends with you. It's like, I'm not going to appreciate that if you lied about something, right? Like, how y'all broke up, for example, or, like, how recent. Because there's some girls that say, oh, no, we broke up a while ago, and that bit was 2 months ago type shit. You know what I'm saying? or, like, if it was a long time ago, y'all broke up a long time ago, but when y'all actually stopped fucking. You feel me? Like,
that's important
you feel
too,
me? So that's why all those things matter. It has to all be perfect. Like, I'm piggybacking on what you said. Asking questions, I'm gonna ask so many questions.
Yeah, but I feel like not many men are asking. I mean, again, my experience. I don't know if it's for other women, but like,
no, but that's insecure men though. That's super insecure men, and it's not in a sense of like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that like they don't have a reason. Maybe they have reasons to be insecure. Maybe they literally gave a girl a chance to be friends with their ex, and then that ended up backfiring. So they're never gonna do that again. So, and you can't get mad at that either.
No, that's understandable. But it's like, I'm not being explained that. You know what I mean?
Oh like, yeah. They're just like, simply saying like, I mean, by a lot of, I think it's also what we've witnessed before too, right? Like it might not happen to us, but like our best friend was like, just told us that like her ex, like out here smashing somebody else in the store or whatever the case may be. You feel me? Like, so last question, and I think this was an interesting one to kind of segue and just to end it off. It's I guess it's one question, but you can ask it in different ways. So, do second chances work? Right, and when I say second chances, that doesn't just mean relationships, but it could also mean friendships, right? Giving someone a second chance to a friend, to be a friend, and also, not only does it work, but do you even believe in it? Because some people don't believe in it. There's the quote, "Everybody deserves a second chance," right? But at the end of the day, you know, sometimes that first chance was
you learned enough.
Yeah, you learned enough from them. Yeah, so let's dig into that. I think I gave a first answer most of the last questions. So I'm gonna let Tevin go ahead. Talk to me.
Damn. I'll say like for me right now, as someone who's like trying to decide if someone's worth a second chance, is hard because like I don't want to spend the second. Like I've told them this is like I don't want our second chance to be either you trying to make up for hurting me, or me trying to make up for the fact that you hurt me type. I don't want it to be spiteful or for someone to be overcompensating. Do I believe in second chances? Yes. Okay. But like, will I say they're difficult and just like, because there's, like we said, we've talked about so many times, there's so much going on like on a day to day. And like, even when you're in that relationship, it's like, what if, and like now you're free and you're like, I could be doing all these other things instead of trying to work on this and then trying to like properly appraise like all the relationships that are coming at us it's difficult, but I do believe in them. Are they worth it?
Let's just say that second chances are earned. They're not given. Yes. Right? So I'm not going to just say this is your second chance. The second chance has to come naturally, in my opinion. It has to like, I'm not going to literally say those words, I'm giving you a second chance. It's just that's just happening as it's going. And then I'm giving you that second chance. Really? You know what I'm saying? So it's going to flow into that. I'm never going to be the type that I'm going to ever say, I'll give you a second chance. Like, I can't ever confidently say that because I really don't know if that's even something that I'm even going to give you or something that I really want to do. Yeah. Because most of us, we do it for other reasons except ourselves. Like, we always try to look for like, dang, like, how is my parents gonna look at me? I've been with the same person for forever now. So I'm gonna give them a second chance just because I don't want to be looked at differently. And it's like, whoa, what? That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't earn that, and you're doing it for other people. What? Like, you know what I mean? So second chances have to have everything to do with, can you genuinely give that person a second chance without thinking about how they fucked up the first one. You know what I mean? So Rosie, go ahead and give your opinion on it, because females, I know that y'all more understanding, unless I'm wrong.
Nah, I feel like from a female's perspective, I feel like we're a lot more understanding, and I feel like we're a lot more forgiving than men are. I feel like it depends on the situation. Me personally, depends on the situation whether or not I'm going to give you a second chance. Because like if you just sat here and cheated on me, yeah, you're a dub. Like it's not happening because at this point you don't respect me unless I don't even know how you'd be able to prove that to me, that you respect me enough to not do it again. Essentially, but I feel like an example, like with my recent relationship, like ending, like it's not because he did anything wrong. It's not because he cheated. It's not because I cheated. It's not because of any of that. It's taking care of myself. I chose me. I chose my happiness. And at the end of the day, if our paths were to cross, and that's a conversation that we wanted to both mutually have, I feel like in our example, it would be more of we both decided, okay, we are both ready to make this try this again and see if it's gonna work. And this is our second chance to see how it would happen. Yeah. If it were to be that it just ended and then like we just hated each other for a little bit and then wanted to see things, and I mean maybe why not? I don't, but again, like it depends on like what happened. Like I feel like it's a lot of respect, it's a lot of trust and honesty and communication, because I feel like women we try to understand y'all a lot more.
Yeah, I really do. Man.
I was like, I would feel like we try to give you the benefit of the doubt as well, as more than you guys try to give us.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I believe that. I feel like it's not like you guys are more understanding. Is that I also think that you guys hold on to a lot too, though. Like
we do.
Like it's not. It's because y'all understanding, but it's because y'all love that person so much that you want to believe that they won't fuck up again. Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe that person really doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Like and in reality, in their head, they're asking for a second chance, but in reality, like they just didn't want to get caught the first time, so they really just like, all right, let me not get caught the second time. Then. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, like it has a lot to do with females. I think y'all put a lot of love into it, when in reality, second chances, it more has to. Love is okay but it's logic. It's like you have to really be realistic. You can't think of love all the time. Like,
I would think,
does he love me? Because in reality, if he loved you as much as you thought he did in the first place, then he would never did it in the first place. So at the end of the day, but like you said, some second chances aren't because of a cheating type of situation. Some are just because
you need to see how it goes and just see if you guys have outgrown each other or not, and you guys are on the same page officially, because it could be that. Right, like again, example, me and my ex are on different pages. We see things in different ways. Yeah. He wanted to not travel as much as I wanted to travel, and do extroverted things, whereas I'm a very extroverted person. So I'm very talkative. I like to go out. I like to meet new friends. I like to travel. I like to do things. We were on different pages, and it caused us to bump heads a lot. Like we're complete opposites, and sometimes opposites work. It worked for a while, but it got to the point where we just kind of we're on different pages, and you never know. Maybe that page will end up on that same page, and maybe it'll work.
Go ahead, sir. I feel like you had something to say.
They're always gonna be on the roster.
I am done with you.
No, they're always gonna be on the roster.
I mean, but because you have to think about it, like the experience that you've had with the person, the love that you have, and like I feel like women. I mean, at least me and the women that I've been around, we love hard, like, and we think more with love than sometimes we think logically,
exactly,
and that's unfortunate. Like, not every woman has been around many. Like, for instance, I hang out with Paul, and the whole gang. Like, I hang out with a lot of them, and I know a lot of a more male's perspective now. So now, coming out of my relationship, I'm like, yeah, you thought you were going to do that to me because I already know your game, so it's not going to happen. And I don't think that much with love anymore, because I'm like, I'm going to protect my love, and because I know what kind of love I can give. I'm going to protect that because I know what my cousin has done, my cousin's friends have done, whatever, or whatever
what
the
that
situation
looks like.
Yeah, I can't even sit here and lie that most of my guy friends, if a girl cheats one time, it's a wrap.
Yeah, like
it's over. You ain't coming. Like, yo, you cut off. Like, don't even look at me.
Look at the game. Like, don't even look to us.
Like, it's quick cut off. Yeah. And I can say that at a younger age, like I gave a second chance to somebody really early, and like that taught me. That taught me pretty much like, okay, like I can handle giving a second chance, you know what I mean? Yeah. So my perspective always been a little bit different from my guy friends, that they quick to cut off, but it's because they've never been in a position where they had to make that choice, you know what I mean? And they automatically think right now that it's gonna be an easy decision to just be like, yeah, nah, you cut off, because in reality, like, it's like, dang, Like you really hope that person didn't make that mistake. You feel me, bro? Like you're like, dang, like now what do I do? Like, do I trust you? You know what I'm saying? So it's a hard decision. It's way harder than what people make it seem.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I do want to wrap this up. I want to give Tevin an opportunity to speak on your podcast coming up soon, and I know you're gonna have every Wednesday. You said you have a IG Live type of thing.
Yeah. So again, I'll send you the link for it, but I have an IG Live every Wednesday. I actually need to rush over and go get that done now.
Yes, sir.
But we just talk about anything, everything. At some point, I'm gonna have you on there.
For sure, bro.
And we're looking to do the podcast like maybe around April. Nice. So look out that for as well. Cool. I'm on TikTok, live with Blue and Tev, and then my personal page is just Tevin Carrington _5. I do like a little bit where I'm a relationship attorney.
True.
Where were you a few months ago?
Yo, 1-800 I'm a side. Yo, call me. But definitely appreciate you having me here. Bro. Like, definitely glad we've been talking about this for like 6 months now.
I feel like I remember you being in our DM too about having a conversation.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
You said the ad name, and I was just like,
yeah, bro. And I mean, regardless, I knew that eventually you were gonna come on.
Yeah,
and I'm super excited for your podcast to start, bro. If you ever need help with that, you just let me know.
Definitely gonna have you up. Definitely gonna be back down here. Definitely, I'm lit. I'm happy that we got to do this. Really appreciate the conversation.
Of course, bro.
Good to meet you as well.
Yes, sir. And then honestly. For you guys watching out there, tune into. We're gonna do a next episode with. We have an episode coming out with Ryan Garcia, but I do have an episode that I'm gonna probably do with Kinetic Vibe. I want to invite Kinetic Vibe over. We're gonna do a field day, but I also want to eventually get them on an episode to speak on what they bring to the table for the community, and just in general positivity, man. Positivity as well. So. Everybody out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was pretty spicy and interesting, but I hope you guys, if you guys have any feedback, feel free to comment down below. If you guys have any personal requests of topics, feel free to DM the page. She's gonna be the one responding, but I'll definitely try to stay tuned. But everybody, have a blessed day out there.